Hi, I'm MXMTOON and I didn't ask me anything with Subtle Asian Traits, the Facebook group, and I, asked you all to ask me questions and now I'm here to answer them. Some of the most popular ones that were sent in, at least, commented numerous times. So let's get into it. The first question that was asked a lot was, what has been my experience growing up half Chinese and half white? Growing up mixed race obviously had a lot of challenges because I think oftentimes feel really suspended between two different identities where you don't feel like you're enough of either one. I remember going to visit family in Hong Kong and then feeling really alienated because I felt like I looked really white compared to everyone else on the dinner table, or going to visit my family in Florida or upstate New York and then feeling really out of place because I felt too Asian in those environments too. So you're constantly put into these situations where you don't feel like you are enough of one thing to fit in anywhere in the world. So it was really tough getting to a point where I felt comfortable in my own skin and claiming my identity as a whole rather than seeing it as two halves. But yeah, I mean, it's been tricky and I'm still navigating it as I continue to experience life and see how my racial identity impacts various other aspects of what I continue to do on a day-to-day basis. What's my favorite dish to eat at dim sum? Okay, so I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I really like chicken feet. I know, they're really good. I know that people will judge me for it, but chicken feet has been my favorite dim sum dish since I was a little kid. I don't know why, they do be kind of tasting good. Next question, do you experience pushback from your parents or other family members about pursuing a creative career? Yeah, in some ways I did. I'm really lucky. I think I have very supportive parents and family, and making the decision to go into music was definitely a scary one because no one in my family expected me to do this so early on. Especially I was going to go to college for architecture. I got into a bunch of schools, got denied from a bunch of schools, and I visited the ones that I got into. And I think 2 weeks after visiting the colleges that I was admitted to, I made the decision that I wanted to take a gap year. And even that decision was based off of the knowledge that my parents said if I couldn't make music into a job, I would have to go to college the next year. But even still, my parents were really supportive. It was a scary decision, but I think that choosing to do music was the first time I'd ever made a choice that was for me and for no one else. I think growing up Asian American, a lot of the things that I did were for other people and trying to fulfill what they wanted from me. And so it was scary choosing to do something that felt like it went outside of the ideas that my own family members had held for me for so long about going to college or pursuing something that feels more practical than doing a music career. So it was really scary, but at the same time, I don't regret it at all. What's your go-to boba order was one of the most popular questions. My go-to boba order depends on how I'm feeling. I have a few different drinks. I really like taro milk tea with red bean. I will take honey milk tea with egg pudding, or I'll do lychee green tea with lychee jelly and boba. But those are my 3 different drinks that I cycle through, and I don't think that I get anything else ever outside of those 3. Another question was, what are your favorite things to do when you aren't creating music? I play video games and I watch a ton of movies and TV shows. I recently made a PowerPoint presentation called S Tier Movies, and it's 135 slides long, so if that doesn't tell you I'm a huge nerd when it comes to movies, I don't know what will. I play a lot of video games. I've been playing Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I know that the rest of Subtle Asian Traits is also doing that. But I also play other games like Overwatch. Persona 5 Royale just came out, and I'm gonna be playing that. I'm trying to think. Yeah, mostly Overwatch. Another question is, do you speak Chinese? I don't. My family is from Hong Kong, so they all primarily speak Cantonese if they do speak any other dialect. I did try to go to Chinese school, and then I didn't really like that. I didn't really try either. I did try learning Mandarin in high school just so that way I could try and somehow understand the fundamental skills that you would need to have if you wanted to learn an Asian dialect, because all the tones and the characters and the alphabet is very confusing. I didn't really get it. So I switched over to Spanish, and I guess you could just call me Spanish-speaking Ni Hao Kailan. Another question was, what gets you through hard times? This is a good question. Personally, what helps me, I go to therapy, which is also something that culturally was not shared with me as an option growing up, and I love it. I'm very thankful that I have the resources to go to therapy and do this for myself. But writing songs is also a form of release for me when I'm going through something that's emotionally really hard or physically difficult or whatever it may be in my life. Writing songs and doing something creative has always been my kind of escape from whatever hardship I'm facing. I guess expressing what you're thinking about in whatever format that might mean for you, whether that's writing a song, doing a painting, doing a diary entry, talking to a therapist, talking to your friends, talking to your family, I think is something that's so important for people to allow themselves to do. I know culturally Asian Americans are not raised to seek out expression and emotional truth to a certain extent. And I think that was a lesson for me that was really important to learn as I was growing up, was giving myself the space to not be okay. I know culturally there's a lot of pressure that can also be placed on an individual growing up in a household and with a culture that places so much pressure on a person to be 100% all the time or to shove everything you're feeling down. And learning that being expressive or vulnerable is not a weakness but rather a strength was a paradigm shift for me that was really necessary for increasing my self-love and appreciation and helping me to not fall into those hard times and just stay there, but instead go back out of them as well. One question that I got that was actually I really enjoyed was 85 or Shenki Bakery. I grew up going to Shenki, so I'm biased. I really think Shenki is the better one. 85 is fine. It's just not as good. It's not as good. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not there. It's not there. If you're curious what I get when I go to Shenki Bakery, I get barbecue pork buns, curry buns, hot dog bun, coconut cream bun, cocktail buns, and a loaf of bread so I can make egg salad sandwiches. And that was a handful of questions that everyone asked on the Subtle Asian Traits Facebook group. I just want to say really fast, a huge thank you to people that commented something or asked me something, because as a mixed race individual growing up, I didn't really have many outlets where it felt like I was valid in my identity, and Subtle Asian Traits is actually one of the first Facebook groups that I joined when I created an account. And it was scary for me because I didn't know if I was actually enough to join the group, and to now be in this position where I can do an Ask Me Anything on this Facebook group I've been a part of for years is really crazy to me. And I'll be honest, I got a little emotional yesterday thinking about it and seeing people's reactions to posting that I was going to be doing this. It made me really happy. I think as a person who strives to hopefully create a really inclusive platform and to help other voices be heard, it makes me feel really thankful that I am able to connect with a community of people the way that I have with my music, whether that be because we have the same ethnic background or sexual identity or whatever it might be. I feel really grateful that I have the opportunity to reflect people's stories in hopefully an accurate way. I hope this video was kind of fun. I enjoyed doing it and getting to share parts of my culture and my background that I don't normally get to do on a day-to-day basis.
Hi Subtle Asian Traits, I'm editing this video and I realized I didn't even film an outro, so thank you so much for having me. Goodbye!